Looking for the best contractor, restaurant, maybe the best place to rent for your vacation? Do you look at Google reviews and the star ratings to determine where you're going to go and who you're going to hire? If so, you need this piece of information. Hi, I'm Amy, and this is another You Don't Know What You Don't Know. This month's You Don't Know What You Don't Know has been inspired by something that happened to me. I will post pictures, but my driveway is a hot mess. It is cracking and flaking, and it's a disaster. And I haven't been in this home very long. It was a new home. It's just unfortunate that the material that they used was subpar, and it started to fall apart. And that is what has inspired today's talk, or today's bit of information. And I, in coordination with one of my neighbors who's having a similar issue, decided to find a company to fix our driveway. And I went out in search of. So I looked at it. What most people do when you have a house project, a home project that you need to take care of, what do? I went to Google and I said, driveway repair or driveway resurfacing or driveway repaving near me, companies near me. And I got all these companies, right? A gazillion companies. And then what I did was I decided that I was only going to contact the companies that had a 4.0 or higher. And I wrote those companies down and I reached out to them. There were about 10 or 12 companies. And I called them all. I left messages. Fast forward, how many of the 10 actually responded? Any ideas? 10 to 12 places. How many do you think I left messages? How many do you think I actually connected with and got to talk to somebody about my driveway? It was a disappointing. Yeah, yes, exactly, Lisa. 2. It was a disappointing. I guess I'm lucky because I got in touch with about 6 people. 6, so about 50%. Now, out of the 50%, one of them didn't call me back until a week later, right as we were getting ready to make our decision. Another one that I got in touch with, they said that they were so busy that it would be at least a week before they could get someone to call me back to even schedule a time to come out and look at my driveway. So initially we were down to 4 places that responded and came out and scheduled something. And I was shocked at the vast array of suggestions of information that I got. So here's what happened. Some people came and they said, this driveway should not be ripped out. Absolutely not ripped out. It would be a mistake to rip it out because it has finally settled. And even though you've got all these crazy cracks, we can just cover it. And I was like, okay, well, how much? And they said, I said, well, how is that going to work? Because now the driveway is going to be higher than it is now. And where it matches up to like our walkway and our garage and the concrete apron is not going to match up. There's going to be like a hump. And they said, oh, no. We'll cut out a section right before those things and kind of like fan it in, like gradually make it so that it meets. So my husband and I were looking at him like, isn't water going to then like drift into our garage and onto our walkway? Like how exactly is that going to work? But I was like, okay, I had more than one company suggest that. As we started going through it and I was talking to companies, I said, well, what about ripping it out? And they, many of them said, yeah, I wouldn't do that. One company said, yes. I'm telling you this long story because there's a reason, so hang with me. One company said, yeah, you're kind of borderline, so I'll give you a quote on, ripping your driveway out. Great. One guy came, never told me he came. I gave him my address, never told me he came, and he sent me the estimate, and he didn't even think my driveway was capable of being what I call capped. It's actually called resurfacing. Resurfacing is where they cut out a little portion, they fill the cracks, and then they cover it. Think of kind of like a veneer if you're getting your teeth done, right? Or or like a cap, or crown. That's kind of like what that is, right? They're covering an existing, they're taking out what they need to, and then they cover it. And so it's called resurfacing. So they gave me a quote on that. Then they gave me a quote on ripping the driveway out. Now, if I were to ask you, what is involved in ripping out a driveway? For me, it was taking it down to the gravel, ripping out all the asphalt and laying new asphalt, ripping it all the way down to the gravel, removing and replacing the driveway. All right, fast forward. I get 4 quotes back. One was from the guy who just said, you need to replace your driveway. And the rest I had resurfacing or capping, and I also had them give me a quote on ripping it out. I'm making this face, you guys, because you don't know what you don't know. And one of the things that was on the paperwork, if you read the actual, they give you all this information that most people don't read, but I sat there and I actually read all the estimates. And this one, the first guy that I never spoke to personally, who said, you absolutely need to replace your driveway, in his quote, in one of the little bulleted items, it said, I will open up and repair any cracks. So I just kind of made that face like, what cracks are there going to be if you're going to rip the driveway out? That doesn't make any sense. There's no repairs to make. You're down to gravel, right? So I called him and he said, oh, no, ma'am. We don't rip it all the way down to the bottom. We just take out the top layer and then we repair any cracks and we put something, then we feel, oh, okay, well, that's not what I thought it was. So again, you don't know what you don't know. I reached out to a friend of mine whose husband is really knowledgeable in this area, and he said, Amy, you never want to rip a driveway out once it's in, not all the way down to the gravel. I didn't know. I didn't know what I didn't know. So I thought, this is the only individual that has said that he's going to do that. That must be the guy to go with. So I went over to my neighbor's house. I go over there and I knock on the door and I'm, Frank, here are our quotes. And we got the last guy to give us like a verbal quote, but he never, even today, I still have not received his written estimate. So we threw that one out because he never kind of followed up. He waited too long to get in touch with me. It wasn't really what I thought. And so I sat down with my neighbor and I said to him, I looked on Google for all of the people that had a 4-star rating or higher. And you know what he said to me? That doesn't mean a hill of beans. I was like, what do you mean? If it has like a 5-star rating or a 4-star rating or 4.5, that means that a lot of people have given them a lot of stars and have a lot of wonderful things to say. You don't know what you don't know, you guys. I didn't realize that companies actually either ask friends to make posts to make their star number go up. He actually told me a story about somebody that he knew who got a bad review, a bad rating. And so she reached out to all of her other customers and said, can you go on and give me a really good rating so that it doesn't destroy my rating overall? And they did. Now, granted, these people had positive experiences, just had not posted it on Google. But there are people that, he said there are people that could like buy you a drink and say, hey, dude, I'll buy you a drink if you give me a good review on my business. Really? Really? I don't think that way. So it didn't occur to me that those star ratings aren't worth a crap, except for the bad ones. The people that are writing that are displeased or dissatisfied or unhappy with the service or the product, those you need to look at, because sometimes they don't even have anything to do with what's actually going on or what you're contracting that person for. And it maybe just be a disgruntled customer, not somebody who really had a bad experience or a faulty product. And so you need to read the bad ones, not so much pay attention to the good ones, because some of those good ones might not be actual, unbiased, impartial reviews. And I didn't know what I didn't know. So if you're doing a home project and you're hiring somebody, or you're looking at a restaurant or a business or something on Google, be aware that some of those reviews, especially the good ones, might not all be authentic. Who would have thunk? So what did we end up doing? I called the person that was kind of in the middle, and we decided that we were going to rip out the driveway. We're just going to rip it out. And I called the person who said he was going to rip it out, not the one who I had a conversation with, but one of the other people. And I thought I would just ask, are you ripping it all the way down to the gravel? Because that's what rip out and replace is for me. And he said, absolutely not. So again, their remove and replace was different than my remove and replace. And therefore, I didn't realize that I was, what I was getting, number one. And number two, I wasn't comparing apples to apples. There was one company that I really liked that had done some work for my neighbors that I thought was incredibly reputable, but she was so much more expensive that I actually called her or emailed her and said, look, I'm a small business too. I would love to get feedback from people. And so I want to give you some feedback. And I gave her that feedback. I said, you're really high when it comes to redoing the driveway. And she said, look carefully. I put 4 inches of asphalt on your driveway when everyone else is only doing 3. Again, you don't know what you don't know. And when you don't know what you don't know, you don't even know what to ask. So here I was able to be armed with more questions to go back and ask the other estimates. So I'm going to encourage you, number one, learn from me. Don't put so much weight on those stars, on those ratings, on those reviews, unless you're really looking deep into them. Make sure that they are authentic if they're good, which is kind of hard to do, and really look at the bad reviews to see if they actually are reasonable or pertain to the job that you're having done. So that's the first thing. The second thing is ask a ton of questions. If you have it in your mind what you are hiring them to do, make sure that that's what they're doing. That's what they're quoting on. Because when I said rip out and replace, I meant go all the way down to the gravel because I didn't know better. I didn't know what I didn't know. But they did. And they were only quoting to rip out the first layer. Now, when they came here, if I had hired them and watched them rip out, not to the gravel, I would have been mad because my expectation was to have a new driveway, not understanding that you shouldn't rip out that first base layer ever. So ask lots of questions. I hope that this learn from my experience has been insightful. I hope that you now know something that you didn't know before that will help you and benefit you as you go about your projects or go about looking at reviews on Airbnb or VRBO, because the summer season is coming upon us and you might be looking to go somewhere actually this summer and want to rent a place, and make sure that you really look at those reviews and concentrate more on the ones that are bad to see if they're just unreasonable or if they really have merit, and base your decision more on that than all of the good reviews. I'm so glad that you joined me today. I hope that the information that I shared with you has given you some insight on something that you didn't know that you didn't know. And hopefully now that you know it, you'll be better off and life will be better for you. Please share this video with others who need this information. Leave a comment below and let me know how this has impacted you or what takeaways you got from this video. Give that thumbs up and let me know you liked this video, and please subscribe to my channel. If you click that bell icon, you'll get notified the next time I upload a video. Until then, have an amazing day.